61% of voters say yes. But look at that. Among all Americans, only 38% say yes. So I think this is going to be a key thing. Can Democrats transition from the primary season where they're running to the left to the general election to be more in the center of the electorate? It's going to be interesting because they raised their hands. They pretty much all raised their hands. Yeah. Can they backtrack on that? I'm not sure, but this is why they're doing it. But, of course, you have to win a general election to become president.
And it all comes down to what is the bigger priority eventually in the general election that voters are looking at. Is it the fact that they don't agree with this aspect of their policy positions or something else?
And you can bet your bottom dollar that Donald Trump is going to run on this issue because he loves running on immigration, illegal immigration specifically.
It was the one big tweet that he had after that second debate.
Exactly.
Great to see you, Harry. Thank you so
nice
much.
Seeing you.
All right, so 24 hours ago, we were telling you that Pete Buttigieg had a huge fundraising success over the past 3 months, raising nearly $25 million, a real sign of staying power. That's more than Bernie Sanders this quarter, much more than you would even expect, especially much more than you'd expect a candidate who was a virtual unknown 6 months ago. But that surge in money has not translated into a surge in the polls, in the single digit still amongst potential Democratic voters. And when you look at a crucial source of Democratic supporters I was talking about with Harry, African-American voters, Pete Buttigieg is getting zero respondents named him. This morning, Pete Buttigieg is speaking before Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Push Coalition in Chicago, and this was the topic of conversation. Phil Mattingly has been watching it all for us. Phil, what did Pete Buttigieg say?
Yeah, look, I think preface with this, Kate, you can have all the money in the world, and if you don't have African-American support of any kind, at least some of it, you're not going to win in a Democratic primary. With that said, the Buttigieg campaign and Mayor Pete Buttigieg specifically are very, very keenly aware that this is an issue for them. And this isn't just a one poll snapshot. We've seen now multiple polls where his support among the African Americans is at zero or right around that area. Their solution to this, as both from the campaign and from Buttigieg himself, is really kind of dual-pronged. One is policy, the other is presence. And that is, on the first one, he's laying out a plan, kind of a system-wide plan that would address criminal justice inequities, that would address access to credit issues, would try and kind of boost African-American entrepreneurs as well, and laying out the details of that. The other is actually being there. He makes a couple key points whenever he talks about this that he's just not very well known in the community. And so you've seen him go to a number of events like the Rainbow Push Coalition event today. You've seen him really focus interviews both on radio and on television with audiences that are predominantly African American. But he was asked specifically about that 0% poll number by our extraordinary colleague, DJ Judd. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Well, first of all, there's a lot of voters I need to get to know and who need to get to know me. They need to understand the details of the Douglas plan that we're continuing to roll out. And frankly, they need to see me in action for a longer period of time. Look, when you're new on the scene and you're not from a community of color, you got to work much harder in order to earn that trust, because trust is largely a function of quantity time. I'm committed to doing that work. But I think the most important question is, will our policy benefit Black Americans and all Americans? And if that happens, and if I can show that, I think the politics will start to take care of themselves.
Okay, kind of a key point there. He's making it clear it's going to take time, given where he came from, given the fact 6 months ago nobody really knew where he was. I think the big question now, he has the money to stay in this race for a long period of time. That's an obvious bonus. He has the money to build out the organization that can start reaching out to people and trying to bring them into the fold. But does he have enough time to swing from 0% to some type of number that makes him viable overall in a lot of these states? That's an open question right now, Kate.
Yeah, that's the unknowable at this moment. Great to see you, Phil. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Joining me right now is CNN senior political analyst John Avlon and CNN's Athena Jones here as well. Athena, we were all just listening to Pete Buttigieg, because when you look at that poll number, that is brutal. 0 respondents. African-American respondents give him support. You have strength there for Biden. Harris is making gains, but then what Buttigieg is up against. And then you hear his pitch when he's speaking to the Rainbow Push Coalition. What I took from it is it's going to take a long time.
I think so. I mean, we talk about name recognition. You talk about Biden's 8 years with Obama. Obviously, Kamala Harris comes from the Black community. Pete Buttigieg doesn't, and he made a good point explaining that. Yeah. He's also said that he's willing to put in the work. People just don't know who he is, and though he's making gains when it comes to fundraising, not moving so much in the polls, we know that that has to do with the Black voter, Black vote, and he's willing to to fight for it, willing to show that he's willing to do the work. And I think that certainly black voters aren't a monolith, and they want to see candidates trying to win their vote. And one more point about black voters. I mean, we saw, of course, we have the 8 years, the deep reservoir of support that Biden has. But you remember back in 2008, it was Barack Obama winning the Iowa caucuses, winning in a very white state that gave a lot of other black voters in other states, like South Carolina, the ability to see that he could have a chance. Yeah. And that's something that could happen with Kamala Harris as she begins to get more name recognition.
That is a very important memory, I think, from how that really transitioned at that time. What's your big takeaway when you see the poll numbers from Iowa, the CNN poll? You've got Biden on the decline. My big takeaway is it's really a race, folks. Don't count anybody out yet, except for maybe people at the very,
except
very,
for
very,
half
very
the field, which is statistically
in
oblivion.
Doesn't fit with mine.
But look, I think the big takeaway is Kamala Harris won the debates. Even over both nights, she's the one who got the biggest bump. She was crisp. She was decisive. And she really was able to persuade a lot of people, particularly Biden voters, who I think are looking at electability. Biden did not have a disastrous face-planting debate, but the trend is not his friend.
And when you punch, it doesn't always backfire. You have to do it artfully, but going on the attack on the debate stage worked.
And she was incredibly artful about the way she did that. Look, Bernie Sanders also in trouble. Not the same kind of loss in the numbers that Joe Biden has seen. But Warren and Harris on the rise. Striking to me that Cory Booker, who had a very strong debate, didn't seem to have a significant pickup in this. But you're seeing a top tier clearly emerge.
What do you guys, both of you, what do you make of the fundraising numbers? I mean, they're wild this quarter. This is so much money. It's crazy banana pancakes.
Banana pancakes.
Which are delicious.
Craziest.
Except can make you sick.
I think it puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the field. I mean, we've seen this huge number now from Pete Buttigieg, nearly $25 million. I mean, $18 million from Bernie Sanders it's nothing to slouch at. But
sorry, Bernie, it still is a big number.
This is someone who Bernie Sanders created an entire grassroots campaign of fundraising, and now you're seeing that it's up
people
against.
People have tattoos of Bernie on them. Pete Buttigieg does not. People do not have tattoos of Pete Buttigieg yet.
Exactly.
And
then, what is Biden going to? What big number is he going to put out? We've heard him tease around 20 million or so at a fundraiser, talking about the breakdown, but we don't know what the real number is, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on the rest of the field.
And it's good to be the incumbent. I think we can take that away as well.
Donald Trump's numbers in that quarter are extraordinary, and it helps that he doesn't have a serious challenge. I mean, Bill Weld is in the race, but if other folks had gotten in, that might have taken a dent out of it. So you got to pay attention to both sides of the aisle on this one, but a lot of money. This is going to be the most highly funded race
and
we've
interesting,
ever seen.
especially on the Dem side, they're having to spend a lot of money early because they need to get the requisite number of supporters to get on the debate stage. So it's the guys who have not made the debate stage yet, they're burning through cash to try to get on that debate stage come the fall.
And if you're not hitting that financial threshold after, they wait for the next debate, people are going to try to break out one more time. But if they can't get liftoff, you're going to start to see some folks fall to the wayside.
People will lose money. If you can't raise the money, you can't stay in, you can't build your teams in early states.
Sorry to say, guys, money is everything. Thank you. It's great to see you guys. Thank you so much. All right, coming up for us, tanks, flyovers, and a big speech. What President Trump has ordered up for the annual July 4th celebration on the National Mall. Is this more celebrating America, or more playing politics? Plus, Good Reporting uncovered a secret Facebook page for current and former Border Protection agents. What was revealed was obscene postings about migrants and lawmakers. And now members of Congress visiting the border say the revelation made them feel unsafe. What's happening with this now?
You try hard. You eat right, mostly. You make time when you can. But sometimes life gets in the way, and that stubborn fat just won't go away. Cool Sculpting takes you further. A non-surgical treatment that targets, freezes, and eliminates treated fat cells. For good. Discuss Cool Sculpting with your doctor. Some common side effects include temporary numbness, discomfort, and swelling. Don't imagine results. See them. Cool Sculpting. Take yourself further.
Thank you to the obstacles that stand in the way of our vacation. Thank you to the detours and delays and everything that gets in the way of summer. Because you remind us of our love for the open road. Summer starts now. Pre into the BMW Summer on Sales event and get up to $4,500 credit on select models now through July 31st.
Today's Best Western? What does that mean? With rewards points that never expire, you get free nights fast. Now get a $20 Best Western gift card after your first stay. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Hey, who are you?
Oh, hey, Jeff, I'm a car thief.
What?
I'm here to steal your car because, well, that's my job.
What?
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 It happens. And if you got cut rate car insurance, paying for this could feel like getting robbed twice. So get Allstate. I'd be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
We use Angie's List because we can always find great local pros.
For any type of home project.
I use Angie's List because it's free.
Free to read reviews.
Check their ratings.
They can even match my project to qualified pros.
Go to angieslist.com today.
At Wayfair.com, we think that when the big stuff ships free, it's just better.
Cover better, brunch better, crunch better, rock better, roll better, whoa better, dream better, clean better. Yeah, better!
Oh, Wayfair has free shipping. Game changer.
Fast better, free better, everything's better when
Get
it's
free shipping on orders over $49. Shop better at Wayfair.com.
Wayfair, you've got just what I need.
Oh my, this Heinz mayonnaise is so creamy. One day you'll tell your grandkids about it. And they'll say, Grandpa, just tell us about Humpty Dumpty. And you'll say, he broke his pelvis or whatever. Now back to my creamy Heinz mayonnaise. Heinz mayonnaise, unforgettably creamy.
Prestige creams not living up to the hype? One jar shatters the competition. Olay Regenerist hydrates skin better than creams costing over $100, $200, and even $400. Fact check this ad in Good Housekeeping. Olay.
Who says being cheap is a good thing? We do. Cheapaware.com. There's nothing wrong with being cheap, with having fun, with saving money. So go ahead. Be smart. Be cool. Be cheap. Just download, click, or call and save on the best flights, hotels, cars, and more.
Cheapaware.com.
Go ahead. Be cheap.
Instead of going to school every morning, what if school could come to you? Because learning happens anywhere and everywhere. K-12 powered schools provide a tuition-free, full-time online public school education.
It's public school at home.
Visit K12.com to learn more.
My students are ready to accept the challenge, and they get all the attention that they deserve.
Students benefit from personalized support from state-certified teachers.
That to me is like a huge support for me. Honestly, she's just happier.
I can have more time with my family and do gymnastics.
K-12's curriculum is designed to engage students, to challenge them, and it's tuition-free.
It's been a huge change in her life and ours.
So visit K12.com today and join the over 1 million K-12 students who have chosen public school at home. Tuition-free and available in most states.
Closed captioning brought to you by TheraWorks Relief. Prevent and relieve muscle cramps.
I would get muscle cramps several times a week for decades. Using TheraWorks Relief, the cramps are gone.
Get TheraWorks Relief today in stores everywhere.
The show will go on, sort of. President Trump has been long requesting a grand display of military might for the upcoming celebration of the 4th of July. And we are now getting new details of what exactly he is going to get and who will be invited. Joining me now is CNN Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr and CNN White House reporter Sarah Westwood. Barbara, first to you. What are you hearing about the military hardware that the president's been talking so much about?
Well, there's likely to be quite a number of aircraft flying overhead across the National Mall on July 4th for this Salute to America event. Kate, we expect now to see B-2 aircraft, the B-2 bomber, the Navy Blue Angels F-18 demonstration team, F-22s, F-35s, some of the Air Force's most advanced fighter aircraft. But the big question, of course, is going to be what people will be able to see right on the mall itself. And the question is whether these tanks, 2 M1 tanks and 2 armored fighting vehicles that had been brought down to Washington, D.C. These weigh tens of tons. They're very heavy vehicles. They can't really be driven on the city roads because they damage the streets. So will they be able somehow to tow them to the mall and put them out on display? This is something even the president has acknowledged may be a real question from the sheer weight of these vehicles, but it's something he would like to see. The military has brought a small number of these vehicles to Washington to try and make it happen. But if you have spent more than 5 minutes in Washington in the summertime, the real vote on July 4th will go to Mother Nature. It is always hot and steamy in Washington in the summers, and we checked the weather forecast already, a 40% chance of thunder showers on July 4th. Kate?
It is always a crapshoot when it comes to the weather on July 4th. That's one thing you can't control. Barbara, thanks for that. Sarah, what are you hearing about the president's, about the speech from the White House about what the speech that the president's set to give?
Well, Kate, the White House is trying to downplay the fact that this could be politicized by some. The White House pointing to the fact that much of the event will be open to the public. But there is going to be a ticketed area right on the steps, the best seats in the House, around where the president will be giving this speech. And the Republican National Committee is allocating some of those tickets to major donors. That's according to the Huffington Post. The RNC has not responded to CNN's request for comments, but the DNC is saying that they weren't given any tickets to allocate. Now, a White House official also says that those tickets will be going to VIPs, friends and family, military members. They're not saying, though, Kate, how exactly those tickets will be allocated. That's all lending to the perception of some that this could be politicized. But White House counselor Kellyanne Conway told reporters this morning that President Trump wouldn't be making this a partisan event, although she did say that his speech will include a list of what Trump views as his administration's accomplishments. Take a listen.
This is a public event. It's open to the public. The public is welcome to come and celebrate our great country, the greatest democracy. I'm not going to allow you to politicize it. The success of this administration and opening up so many jobs for individuals, what we've done for veterans. There's no final